it seemed like, kind of again, obviously, 3 games in 5 days. Was it kind of just a case of maybe a little bit of fatigue at the end there that allowed LSU to kind of pull away?
Yes, I feel like fatigue for sure. We've been battling hard. We've been practicing. We've like you said, we've had a lot of games back to back, and it's just seven of us, and I would say fatigue for sure.
How proud are you? I mean, you have 7 of you, and you're playing this many games back to back. The fact that you're staying in a game against the number 12 team in the country.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of our effort. We played very hard. I'm very proud of Charlie. She stepped up big tonight, and it's just I'm still proud of my team. I'm not doubting us. On to the next.
Stefan, go ahead.
You mentioned Charlotte there, obviously 8 points, 9, 10 rebounds, or 11 rebounds for her, I should say. I mean, what's it like, watching her, step up when you guys need her? And it's kind of obvious that the fans are noticing what she's doing too. They seem to kind of buy into all the plays that she makes.
Oh, it's very important. Like I said, I'm very, very proud of her. She's been working hard. She's been listening, focusing in more, buying into the scout, and it's big for us. She's stepping up at the right time, and all the pieces they'll eventually come together.
And you mentioned just some of the fatigue there with how many games you guys are playing now. I know some of them have been makeup games from earlier in the season, but it's kind of quick turnaround again. You guys are back at it on Sunday. I mean, what have you kind of learned through this process that maybe you can use in these next few days to rest up and get ready for another game?
Look at the things that we did wrong that we could have did better. Let this one go. Don't let this one put us down. We played really hard. I'm proud of my team, and just buy into everything. Get ready for the next game. Learn from our mistakes, and stay up. I wouldn't get down on my team. I feel like in the end, everything's going to come together. So, yeah, we're working really hard.
Robbie, go ahead.
Annie, y'all don't really have a lot of time to rest or anything like that. I mean, you go from one game and then the next day you have to prepare for whoever you're playing. What's that process been like? How are you finding rest or whatever to kind of get through this?
Yeah, there's really no rest, just listening to our trainers, listening to our bodies. Coach been really big on saying that, like listening to our bodies, making sure he's not overworking us, and yeah.
Andy, go ahead.
There was a timeout that Doug took, I think, like 2 minutes left in the first quarter. What was kind of his message there? I think you guys looked a little gassed maybe right at the beginning there. Was he kind of like pulling for you guys to stick together right there?
Yeah, just telling us to stick together. He gave us the timeouts. We were kind of tired, running up and down the floor, but just telling us to stay in it. We're doing well, telling us to execute, and that kind of brought us back up and pulled us back in.
What's the next, 2 days look for you guys? Are you practicing much, or are you trying to just, get off your feet as much as you can?
We're still practicing, but, taking it day by day, going over scouts, watching more film, getting in with the trainers, making sure we do all the therapy we need and things like that.
We'll wrap things up with Courtney.
Not to harp too much on the fatigue factor, but just with how you guys have been playing and really competing, how frustrating is it that towards the end it just felt like maybe your legs couldn't keep up with what you guys were trying to do?
I mean, it's kind of frustrating, but, we still played hard. We still stay together, try to stay together, stay positive together, and, take play by play. But, yeah, it's very hard, but my team, we really want to win, and I feel like towards the end, just stay bought in, and in the end, everything's going to be all right.
Coach, I know you don't want to use it as an excuse, but the players obviously look fatigued out there. They found a burst of energy midway through the game, and then those last 6 minutes couldn't get their legs underneath them to make some shots. So how much of a factor do you think that is the last couple of games?
I think, again, we talked about it last time. I think it's a definite factor. But I saw LSU do this to Kentucky, and Kentucky played them right up until the end. And, I mean, these are really good players. So, before we start complaining or whining what happened to us, we have to make sure that we're giving credit to a really good team and a well-coached team. And I thought Kim had a nice mixture of attacking matchups and letting them play, and they hit some really important shots. And down the stretch, we didn't. Probably needed to, again, not whining about the officials, but probably needed to get a couple of those calls to go our way in a game like this, so we could have gone to the free throw line. We didn't get those calls. That's life, just the way it works out. But no, I thought we competed well, and they just got us down the stretch. They played some good basketball down the stretch.
It was a really difficult matchup, too, because they had two true post players, and both of them had 12 rebounds each. But you've mentioned before about you don't have to win the rebounds, but just kind of stay close, and y'all did for most of the ball game. How'd you feel like y'all did in that area and getting to the goal and getting those rebounds against those trees down there?
Yeah, we did a much better job than we did against Kentucky. So against Kentucky, for whatever reasons, we failed to go meet people. So boxing out, it's especially if you're packed in, you feel like you're in good position because you have inside position. But when you're 5'6", and if you're inside already, you take one step forward, that ball's going to go over your head, and we don't want to get into a jumping match. So, and again, we're not having a lot of contact. We're not spending a lot of time on our legs because we can't. We need to take care of their bodies. And so, but we did do this. I mean, we were in those positions. We were icing some ball screens, and we just worked on half speed. Actually, it wasn't even half speed. It was 25% speed that we went to box out. We just went and hit. We left our area and went to go meet them and then put our bodies on them. And I thought that there was really good carryover there. And again, there's some things that you can win a game with inside of that game, although the scoreboard isn't what we wanted. We won. We got better. We got better in areas that we needed to get better at, and we're never going to lose sight of that. And then we'll watch some film tomorrow, and there's another piece that we can keep on getting better at. Throughout the course of the year, you just never stop trying to get better.
Stefan, go ahead.
Doug, not to keep harping on some of the fatigue, but it looked like there with about 2 or 3 minutes left, Jacayla kind of asked, or two to 3 minutes left in the first quarter, Jacayla asked you to call timeout. I mean, how difficult does it make it with the bench that you guys have, or the lack of bench there? To have an opening stretch like that, I think it was like 8 minutes without a timeout, and I think the last 3 minutes there without any type of stoppage.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't have much more to add to it other than life is tough, and sometimes those stretches are tough. Jacayla and Ree, they are small, but they're the bigger bodies that we do have that can get into someone's thighs. And so those two positions are extremely important, and we tried to rotate them as much as we could. I like having them both out there at the same time, but sometimes we just got to rest each one of them because we need that. And then we have to use Ree for Charlie at times too. But yeah, it's problematic.
And then there, towards the end of the games, when the officials were reviewing that last play, I know you went over there. You talked to Kim Mulkey for a few seconds. I mean, what did she say? It looked like she was kind of, gave you a tap on the head or something like that. I mean, what's it like, coaching against her and getting some, words there from her at the end?
Yeah, she's. I think she's a great coach. She's done some amazing things in the game, and she's been very kind to me in my interactions with her, and I have nothing but respect for her as a coach and as a human being too. She didn't have to be nice to me. She's responsible for LSU. She's not responsible for Mississippi State, and she went out of her way to say some nice things.
Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Doug. Do you mind sharing some of the nice things she said, if you don't mind, or keep it private if you don't want to?
Yeah, I'll probably pass on that.
That's totally fine.
I'll keep them for myself.
That's totally fine. But we've seen Maya Taylor, like last 5 games or so, her 3-point shooting has really improved from where it was maybe in the beginning of the season. How critical, I guess, is that in what you guys are trying to do and just kind of keeping games close when she can splash from deep?
Very important. And, at the beginning of the year, we talked about how much she had worked on that shot and how eager she was to add that to her repertoire of skills, and sometimes you can be too eager to try to show it, and she was taking them early and maybe off balance, and as the year has progressed, she has found her rhythm in it, and she works on it every day consistently, and she's taken the right ones at the right time, and she's hit some big ones, and so I don't know what her overall numbers are because I don't really care about the overall numbers. You know, you look at the last 5 games, you look at some big games when we've needed some of those baskets when they're started to sag off of her, and she's done a really nice job. But you know, again, it's not a surprise when somebody has work ethic and a consistent focus with that work ethic that you're going to get a result. It's almost impossible not to get a positive result.
Do you kind of see like a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, with the Missouri game, the last of this 4 games and 7-day stretch? And I guess how much are you looking forward to a little bit of more extended time after that?
Yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully it's not a train. Maybe. I mean, I just know that we've got 2 days, which seems like an eternity. And tomorrow will be very light, and we've been very light even on the 1-day turnarounds. But you know, then we'll be able to go a little bit harder for our 1-day prep for that Missouri game. So, yeah, it seems 2 days is a long time in between games.
Courtney, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned just focusing on some of the positives to take away from today's game. Are you guys as a team just able to sort of take a moral victory away from keeping as close as you did with LSU till the end?
I just hate that term so bad.
I understand.
I think I don't even know exactly what a moral victory is. Either you win or you lose. But like I said before, and maybe it's just semantics, there are wins inside that game even though we lost. So things that we cared about, things that we needed to do better, we did. And the better you get at those things, it increases your chances. You know, like there's 3 definitions of best. There's being the best, there's doing your best, and then it's giving it your best shot. You know, we just keep giving it our best shot, which allows us to do our best a little bit more often. And then sometimes we'll have a greater percentage of being the best at some point in time. And we just go that order. It's, you know, if it's just we've got to be the best and we lose, then the whole world is falling apart. If it's giving it your best shot, which allows us to do our best a little more often, and then sometimes we can win these things, now we have something to play for that's a little bit bigger than just a transactional win or a loss. And you feel like you're getting better. And if these kids feel like they're getting better, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And there is some excitement, even though you didn't get exactly what you wanted with that win or that loss. And so I think from a mindset of these kids, they're giving it their best shot every single time they step on the floor, regardless of officials, regardless of 7 people or 8 people. It doesn't matter. Their priorities and why they're playing, who they're playing for, is outstanding.